I like this song. Hello, blessings. It's High Priestess Jamila. I thought I would come and do a Q&A just to kind of see who's watching this channel, and just to answer any questions that maybe people that are a little shy, maybe they're lurking in the chat and maybe they're not saying anything. I wanted to answer some questions from an authentic witch, as far as like maybe questions and concerns that you may have about spell work, rituals, things like pacts and, obvious religious concerns of are you going to hell? Now, before I get into this, um, there has been a lot that has been done, in particular the past 3 years, because I have haters and competitors that are jealous of the fact that I manifest and that my spells work. And that really stinks. Those people really stink a lot. And I'm going to tell you why. There has been a continued effort to try to discredit, defame, derail me, while also not giving you guys the correct information. And that has been done a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to start. Hey, sister. Hello, 1EQ. I'm just going to start out by getting, kind of into a little bit about me. Okay. I started, well, first of all, I was pretty much born a witch. Okay. I feel like it didn't skip a generation. It's been in every generation of my family. My great grandmother, whose name is Fanny, was a known witch to everybody. My grandmother, who is her daughter, didn't necessarily practice, but obviously picked up a lot of my great grandmother's witchy ways. Okay. And so I am also a medium, which means that I can pick up on spirits as well as energies. And this is a gift that was discovered when I was around the age of 2 or 3 years of age. And it actually, I think that the gifts were there from the beginning. Um, but there was some trauma that occurred around the age of 2 or 3. My aunt, who was raising me at the time, my auntie, her son had passed away from leukemia. And, that was a very painful memory because he was like a father figure to me. He was like a father because my parents were young and they were going through their own little stuff. And so my aunt and her son were pretty much raising me, okay, because my mother couldn't handle it. It's too much, probably too many spirits around me and all that jazz. Because, when babies are born and they're a medium, when you're born and you're a medium, there's lots and lots of spirits and a lot of supernatural spiritual activity that are around those babies, okay? And so my aunt was raising me. And so my cousin, who was her son, when he had passed away of leukemia, it was a memory that I had blocked out because it was very painful losing him. And that was like years later. I didn't find out until years later. My whole life, I've always kind of felt like I was kind of distant. And a lot of my childhood, Like I remember some stuff, but a majority of it I don't even remember. And it, I don't blame anybody for that. I mean, probably from the moment I was conceived, there was trouble because the cauldron was bubbling. Okay, seriously, it's a witchy thing. Okay, for you to understand that. But my aunt, after I got older, she would just tell me the story over and over and over and over again about how I was communicating with her son after he passed. And it used to scare her a little bit because I would pick up my toy phone and like hold full conversations with him. And she was like, I knew his presence was there, and like you were directly communicating with him. He would actually kind of scold me sometimes if I was acting up. And he would like still give me direction, right? And I don't believe that he's doing that now, but at least he did when I was a child. Okay. He might be like a guardian angel, but I think that there was certain rituals that was done when I in my youth, which should not have been done, but they were done, probably without my auntie's knowledge, to sort of banish his spirit. And I'm not going to get into that, but um I didn't really start practicing witchcraft until I was in my late 20s. And so I started practicing, did it all wrong, and walked away from it, but then ended up going back because it's just who I am, And so after over 20 years of working in the workforce and being totally spooked and spooking everybody else, I decided to start Divine Services Apothecary in 2015. And it actually started a few years prior to that. Um, and so I've been doing this ever since, doing work for people. Hello, welcome, Black Karma. Hello. And so I've had a lot of hands-on experience. Okay, primarily at cleanses, healings, and exorcisms is my specialty. And but I do offer full services. Now, I want to address something, a couple of things. Um, Number one, does a witch have to have success in her own love life to be able to do love spells and healings for people? The answer is no. It's been a lot of misconceptions about that, to where, and a lot of lies. There have been people that have been practicing since they were 13 and doing spells for people, and ain't nobody married at the age of 13, unless they married to a spirit or something. But otherwise, so that is complete hogwash. Having issues in your own love life, like, for example, if I get into an argument with my husband, okay, does that mean that that's going to bleed into your love life? No, that's a misconception. That is a lie. And a lot of the things that have been said and spoken was really and literally meant to scare you off from witchcraft. It was not meant to make it possible for you to develop a positive relationship with the craft, either as a witch or as a client. Okay, so I'm going to say this disclaimer: I have had scam artists that they just have a itch for Jamila. Okay. And I wanted to come here and speak about the misconceptions, the lies, the rumors, the bullcrap. Okay. And so if you have any questions about witchcraft, you can post it. I'm just going to talk and try to work your questions in. I'm going to start with 1EQ. Hello. 1EQ is actually a apprentice of mine. I want to know what it is I need to work on to help my move happen this month. So that is going to require a lot of heavy manifestation work as well as money work for you to actually get into your own place. Um, I love you too, sis. For you to get into your own place, it's going to require money work and house manifestation work is what it's going to require. Okay. Um, Mainly so much on the money side, but if you are sort of having issues with like credit or either time on job, so it can be somewhat of a challenge, but it can be done. Okay. And, you know, I get a lot of people that come to me that need housing, that, are moving. Okay. And it doesn't surprise me. Um, when I moved into my house that I'm in currently, um, I was not only was my credit score low, but um, I'm self-employed. So that can be a challenge. Self-employed people are treated pretty much like crud, in my opinion. And I think that they need to they need to create laws to protect us, like special laws. And they really do have a few because people think that they can just block bust and say whatever they want to say about your business if you are self-employed and run a small business. Okay, it is extremely difficult. Support your small businesses, support me. I support small businesses. I came out the gate supporting every small business owner that I knew. I came out the gates with that because I'm a firm believer in people having their own small businesses and growing their businesses. So I'm not a hater. I'm not a slave master. I don't believe in limitations and blocks. Okay. So it's a lot that energy is probably why it's rough for sellers right now. That same exact energy, that energy of people trying to put blocks and limitations on people. And that sucks. It really does. And we've been finding more and more ways, surefire ways of binding these people from doing harm. You're not binding them. Some people, they just feel like they have to do harm to people. It's just kind of the way that they work. Even some witches are like that. Um, I am more so family, home, and healing orientated. Okay. Although I do delve in a lot, I do, because it's necessary. Okay. The pacts with Lilith are necessary. Those are things that let's grow up. Let's be honest about this. Let's be mature about this. Okay. And so, I could tell that I don't know if I don't know how this happened, but somehow I felt like some kind of, I don't know if it was a church organization or something. They just all of a sudden wanted to corner my channel, back me into a corner, and tried to pretty much convert me over to Christianity. I don't know what that was about. It was weird. Even if I were thinking about becoming a Christian, which the things that they were doing is going to run me away from the church forever. I have had enough happen in the name of religion to completely scare me off from religion for the rest of my life. It'll never happen ever, and I can promise you that. It's not to say that I can't go and visit a church or go to a church gathering. It's not to say that. But as far as me, my trust levels are like below zero, less than zero. I don't have any trust in that. And I am 1000% witch, firmly standing in my beliefs and my pagan beliefs. And it's not going to change. So if somebody feels that I need to change, then maybe, maybe you need to change. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Now, so that's what's going to be required. Okay. Is manifestation work for that. And so you can talk to me behind that, about that behind the scenes, but thank you for your question, sis. Okay. Now, Bailey, hello. How are you? If a money candle poofs, what does that mean? Some of my ancestors' essence was in it. Um, it's very important for you to divinate when you're doing spell work if you're unsure. I feel like you should go by the feeling that it gives you. If it's poofing to the point where it's like, is it doing like a pss, 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 or something like that, or you're seeing like sparks and flames, to me that represents something good. To me, sparks and flames and like, fire fountains, to me that's a good sign. To other people, they don't feel that it is good. I think that with candle flames, you'll want to really pay attention to the direction that the flame is pointing towards. And you always want to look for the north. If they're pointing towards the north and you're trying to manifest money, that is a very, very good sign. In fact, for the Maybon group, it's weird that big 9-inch candle, not the one that I lit yesterday for the full moon for the group, but the other one, it's actually leaning north. Like the whole candle is just leaning towards the north direction. So, what that means is that manifestation is going to come fast and it's going to last, is what that means. Okay. Now, if it made a loud noise and went out, that means that there's a problem. That means that something stopped the work for some reason. You really have to follow your intuition when it comes to that, seriously, because what that definitely means is that there's some kind of blockage. It, to me, if I had a money candle that made a loud noise and went out, I would start to remove stuff. I feel like there's something that you need to do, but see, it's so complicated. It really depends on what it is. There's so much that has to be explored and considered when it comes to witchcraft, and it really honestly depends on what circumstances and situations that you are dealing with. If somebody is trying to stop your money, they may do all sorts of things. So it sounds like to me that somebody's trying to stop your money manifestation for some reason. Okay, guys, I'm back. Okay. So So that depends on the situation. It really does, and it depends on what is happening. Like, I feel like that was that from what I'm sensing is that it was an external manipulation of your working. And external could be an ancestor, but you got to ask yourself, why would an ancestor stop your candle? So you may not, you have to be careful. You have to really, really be careful with malevolent spirits posing as ancestors. Why would your grandmother make your candle flame go out? Okay. So to me, from what I'm sensing, just I don't know why I just automatically started reading your question. From what I can feel is that there is some sort of external force trying to shut down your work and your manifestation, sweetie. Okay. And so that to me would mean that's some kind of spirit activity. And you said that it was dirt on it. Was it bank dirt or graveyard dirt? um, are you are you calling your quarters? Are you creating a circle for you to be protected within? So those are things that pretty much, I know that it sounds very, because a lot of people that they're just doing things and they're just practicing and they're just putting together these jars, they're just doing things. But were you in, okay, graveyard dirt? Okay. Graveyard dirt could be used for money working. I would suggest bank dirt, not graveyard dirt, but it depends on where you got the graveyard dirt from. Like, okay. And graveyard dirt can be used to create fast changes. So that does kind of change things a little bit. The candle could have went out because it was already done working. Like sometimes when you have a candle that's going and the flame goes out, that means that it's done a lot of the time. So you have to divinate that situation. Okay. But I do feel as though someone's trying to mess with your workings. Just like I said, it just really depends. I would have to literally, like, I have witches that contact me to ask me to interpret their spells for them, like what that meant. And I have people sending me pictures of spell work all the time. Like, what does this mean? Why did this happen? And then I also have students. I haven't had a student in a minute, but I do have people that come to me and ask me random questions, or sometimes they have to schedule a reading. But yeah, I tried to do bank dirt, but a lot of the NES in my area are closed off and heavily monitored. Oh, okay. Okay. Mm, mm. Yeah. And that, honestly, guys, there are so many different ways of dealing with certain things like that. Honestly, if you are practicing, there are certain staples that you need to have in your house. You need to, if you're if you're throwing magic, you really, really need to, and I speak from personal experience, you really, really need to have certain wards put up around your house on the outside as well as in the inside. Those things are very important for you to do that. And then also, are you calling the quarters north, south, east, and west, or are you putting a protective circle around yourself when you're doing these spells? That's something that's very important. Opening the circle and then closing the circle. Because what drawing that circle does is it stops unwanted energies from entering into your circle. Now, preferably, you're not going to have bad energies in your house. That doesn't matter. There are some people that possibly could be tapping in to your rituals, and they may want to shut down your rituals for whatever reason. So if you are protecting yourself within that circle, also not just, I've been doing it so long that I can, create a circle in 2 seconds. It's just bam, it's there. But, sometimes you really have to pay attention to that, because all kinds of things can happen. And I definitely, Bailey, I'm sensing a lot of heavy supernatural energy surrounding you. I do see a contract. Family members can sometimes means that there could possibly be a contract of sacrifice, which means that a family member is interested in sacrificing you or selling your soul. So that is something that if you have something like that happen, you need to go and deal with that. You need to deal with that. If you have bad family members that are throwing magic and or psychic energies or psychic attacks at you, you have to handle that situation. So what I would tell any new witch is to have her ward set up and even get a dark mirror. Now, if you don't have a relationship with the underworld in some kind of way, and if you're not protected in the underworld, or if you have not done any shadow work, do not have any black mirrors. No, because like my black mirrors, I have them. I have like a few of them, and I don't even cover them up because I've done a lot of shadow work, a lot. So I'm not worried about things coming in and out. Okay. A lot of people, there's certain rules that people set up. Those can be extremely useful for blocking out unwanted attacks. But I think that it can make things worse if you have not done the proper work to to make sure that things are not just coming in and out. And so for me, I'm an empath. I can feel a presence. I can feel when certain presence has have came in. And but you can actually program those black mirrors to not let stuff come in. Because it's very common, um it's very common, you know for people to throw stuff at you. It is. It's very common. And defensive magic is something that we are really, really getting into at Divine Services Apothecary, and then preventative magic as well. Okay, things that can prevent certain things from happening. Now, there's tons and tons of people that already have so much stuff going on. So many people need cleanses. So many people need exorcism. So many people need contracts broken. So many people need so much. So it kind of, like when the scam artists come in and they act like we're all fighting over a dry bone, it's very weird. Their energy is very constricting. And those are the type of energies that you're dealing with. People that they are afraid, they are unsure, and then possessed. Okay. I don't have any that are in magic, but they say things and words can be spells and manifest physically, so I keep my distance. Well, you got to ask yourself, why were you lighting up a money candle in the first place? So they're already speaking against your money. And I think that it is very important to have evil eye protection. And then also, the evil eye is not just a person's eyes. I feel that the evil eye is the throat. The evil eye is the throat. It's like when somebody got their mouth open and they talking, like if you were to look at the back of somebody's throat, there's your evil eye symbolism right there. People in their mouth, because people curse themselves every single day. They say things to themselves that are, stopping them in life, and so those types of people will speak things about you. And when it's family that's doing it, it's too close in blood. Okay. And so that is one of the reasons why I teach my students to do blood magic. If you come from a horribly dysfunctional family to where everybody crazy, everybody possessed, listen, you have to purify your blood. So, that's something that we're doing a lot, okay? Do I get annoyed by the Hollywood thoughts on exorcism? I do. I do. I don't like the whole possessed by the devil thing. I don't like that. I don't like possessed by the devil because a lot of us, when we're experiencing possession, it's literally spirit possession. The devil, listen, if the devil possessed somebody, you would like if Lucifer or Satan was to possess somebody, or even Lilith, which, I've been, working with Lilith for years. You would be possessing all sorts of spiritual powers. You would not be sick. You would not be laid out in the bed. You would not be throwing up green goop. So yeah, I do get irritated on that. I do. But it's just entertainment, but then again, Hollywood can actually be very useful because it can be very useful because there are certain movies and stuff in Hollywood that are very accurate. You know, now I will tell you that there are some demons, uh, what we know as the devil, Lucifer, Satan, is way too refined and posh and put together to, go inside of somebody and make their head flip around, Now he may help you levitate, but head spinning around and all that weird stuff. There are certain demons in hell that can be very scary, like that though. Okay, so but yeah, the evil eye's throat. Yes, ma'am. But then it's also psychic vision as well. People and their psychic vision. People that are using like psychic powers to manipulate and dictate. Okay. Is blood magic more powerful than regular magic, or does it matter? I wouldn't say that it's more powerful. I'd say that in certain circumstances it would be powerful. Yes. And when you say blood magic, are you speaking of menstrual blood magic, or are you speaking of animal blood? Because in order for me to really get into that, so when it comes to animal blood, blood within itself is very powerful, especially when it comes from either a human or an animal. It's very powerful. And so, how you would be using the blood would make a difference. Some people are a little confused about how to use it. I've noticed that. Okay, regular human blood. Okay. Blood is connected to your ancestors, number one. But then again, blood, because because of what it is, because it is life giving. Okay, blood is life giving. So it's a lot of power in blood. There's a lot of key energy in blood. Your life force is in your blood. So that's why when you add it to spell workings, it does make it more powerful. Yes, ma'am. It does. But I mean, there's been plenty of workings that I do all the time that don't involve menstrual blood, if or regular blood or any kind of blood. But it honestly, it depends on what you're dealing with. Okay, it really does. It depends on what you're dealing with. I would say that it's extremely important, especially for women, to reserve their menstrual blood throughout the winter. I'm encouraging everybody to do that, to reserve your menstrual blood throughout the winter. But your blood also represents your will. If I'm not mistaken, your spleen. What makes your blood? Your spleen, doesn't it? It's a lot of different systems in the body that makes blood. Blood is connected to your entire being, in particular the heart. So it is very powerful to use blood, especially menstrual blood. Menstrual blood is some of the most powerful. In fact, I believe that menstrual blood has a lot of healing and regenerative powers to it. I can't really speak freely on that, but yeah. Hey, Kels. All right. I hope that that answered your question. You can feel free to, post more if you want. Okay. Kelly says, how do you properly cleanse a deity statue to work with it? I would say that the way that I cleanse is I smoke it. I smoke with smoke, either copal or dragon's blood. Lilith is going to prefer dragon's blood, okay, because she's Lilith. But, if you want to consecrate it and clear it, she'll accept um, copal or either frankincense. She's okay with that if you want to clear it and clean it off. Now, some of those statues are not made to take oils. Like, a lot of us want to be tempted to like drip, and you can still drip oils on your statuettes. But a lot of them, the paint will start to come off of it. So, I would say take some, if you feel like you want to use something wet, like you can take a damp cloth and just wipe it down. Okay. Can spirits send people into females' lives to test and distract them? Like, are they able to morph themselves into a physical human body, or is that just fictional? That's a really heavily loaded question. I think that the jury is still out on that one. Many of us suspect that, yeah, that spirits can um come to you in various forms. It's that kind of thinking could be a little dangerous. Now, I will tell you that what I mainly see is spirits possessing people being under spirit possession. I would say that that would be more like believable, or, that would make more sense for, spirits to possess people to send either good or bad messages to you. I have, and I don't use the Bible anymore. I don't use the Bible anymore because I don't worship Jesus Christ. I have before, and I wish I hadn't. There's actually, we were looking that up last week. Remember, sis? We were looking that up, one EQ. And there's actually a Bible verse that is a actual curse that says that you're not supposed to be doing using the Bible unless you are doing the workings of the Lord. And what are the workings of the Lord? It certainly is not witchcraft. Remember that? I can't remember the exact verse because I'm not going to write it down. But A lot of hoodoo practitioners do use Psalms magic, but I think that you have to know the Bible. And so last week I was doing some research on that, and there are probably several different areas of the Bible where it is telling you that, I think you should pick a side. Personally, this is just my personal opinion. I have no issue with Jesus Christ. I actually don't choose to work that way. That's just my journey. I think that's a good question too. Like, if you are a client, should you be going to church as well as reading the Bible? You want to know my honest opinion? No. Nope. I wouldn't. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, I wouldn't, because it actually says in the Bible that I'm gonna find that verse. I don't have my other phone up here with me. I need to find that, because there's a list of curses in the Bible, and it's a very straight to the point curse that's in one of those. I think it may be Deuteronomy or one of them, that says that you are not supposed to be using that Bible unless you are doing the Lord's work. You ain't supposed to be using none of it. And that includes Psalms. So that's why you don't hear me saying things like, no weapons formed against me shall, and that comes from the Bible. I quit using it. I quit, things that I was sort of raised on. And I hate to sound bad to certain people, but I'm not going to be a part of a religious practice that says that just about almost everything that I do or have done is a sin, and I'm going to hell for it. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's why I don't. Okay. I glanced at it the other night when I was out there doing my tree wards and stuff for my house. And it was kind of hiding behind the trees, but boy, it was bright blue. It was actually blue. Yeah. Oh no, you can't light candles? Why not, Kelly? Girl, we're gonna talk about that. Not even outside. Why not? Is it because of your landlord? Yeah, there's a couple. There's only a few, which is why I don't know why they make such a big deal about witches. But there's a few verses in the Bible that talk about, not practicing witchcraft. There's quite a few. And so that's the reason why I don't have a Bible in my home. And I don't practice out of the Bible. And there are certain things that, like, for example, that look like hoodoo. Okay. Beef tongues, working with meat, working with bones and stuff, that a lot of hoodoo people do. But when hoodoo is basically, to me, it's basically Christianity. I feel like, to me, from what I've seen from some people, and keep in mind, guys, I don't really have a lot of time to research this because I'm constantly doing work for people. So, if that were my only job, to where I just did a lot of research and, did a lot of, study on the different religions and on witchcraft itself, which, obviously I have to do that for my practice. But I can't necessarily be an expert on everything. Okay. I can't exactly be an expert on that. The association people and plus the alarms go off. Oh, okay. What? So what did he do? Like what happened, Ashley? Like did he just give you the creeps or the heebie jeebies? There's healers in the South, but they get demonized. I can honestly say that the only time that I have gotten demonized is on the internet. Otherwise, I don't have people like knocking at my door, like tripping with me. I did have a weird experience with a Jehovah's Witness one time, and this Jehovah's Witness, like, basically, I don't know how they got that watchtower, and I love towers. Like, y'all know those lighthouses and stuff. Oh God, I love those. In fact, I'm gonna start doing like a little collection of those. Like, I love those. Okay. And I don't associate the towers with because it's like a thing. It's a real thing. Like, I've had religious trauma happen to me as a child that I just recently dealt with, that has to do with Jehovah's Witnessing. But so I don't know how that person got that pamphlet, like it was literally inside the door. I was like, dang, I was like usually they put it on the door knob, but like it was almost like they had opened the door and stuck it in there. And I'm like, anyway, it was weird. Oh my God. Are you serious? Most of the real spiritualists are deceased, and nowadays they are frauds. I wouldn't say most of the real ones are deceased. I feel like a lot of the real ones, um, they are heavily indoctrinated and oppressed. But then also, it's interesting that you would bring that up because I'm actually training witches right now. I'm training them. Okay. So there will be more to come, and there needs to be. Okay. Because it's just like, really. Ashley said, I sin way too much to pretend to be a Bible thumper. It just, it's a different way of life, and it's something that they have to accept. It's a totally different way of living. It's not the same, you know? But that's kind of creepy and intrusive. Oh God, really? Wow. And I think it is. Thank you, Bailey. Bailey. I think it is I think that, well, first of all, there's a lot of people practicing that, we don't really know about. They may not necessarily do work for other people, but they practice, because I talk to a lot of people about, as far as like answering their spiritual questions. And I provide a lot of guidance for people, who are up and coming and, developing themselves and learning, because I think that it is good to have somebody that you can go to that is going to give you non-biased, correct, and valuable information. Because I think that information is so valuable for us witches. I think it, as far as when it comes to, um, the timing of it, now information as far as what somebody was doing with a husband in the bedroom, that's not the type of information I'm talking about. I'm talking about the information as far as the downloads, is what we call them, the intuition that we are given, the wisdom, I like to say wisdom instead of downloads, but it's the wisdom that they give you. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to be giving even just talking to a witch. You know what I'm saying? So, what's the POC community? You're going to have to spell that out for me. TBH, a whole lot of people, to be honest, okay? A whole lot of people practice it. It's just with the piece of crap community. That's what you mean, piece of crap community. We're still stuck on and forced to idolize non POC must mean something else. Most Christian holidays and pictures are pagan. So you can't look down on a practitioner. Oh, people of color. Oh, okay. I thought that meant piece of crap. I'm not stuck on it. I'm not stuck on anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what the color community is doing. I do my own thing. And that's the one thing about being a witch is that you can't be afraid of that. Because you can have people that have been practicing for years and then all of a sudden, you're the antichrist and you're a horrible person and you need to be burned at the stake all of a sudden, just because you're practicing. And that's the one thing about me is that I don't do that. I have seen the oppressive natures of people, and to me I feel as though those people are frauds. Those people are trying to basically scare you away from it. They don't really want you to have your own empowerment. They want you to look at it but not touch it. And of course there's certain secrets that we all have that are sort of, it's what we do, like when we're teaching this stuff. But I think that the whole fear factor and all of that stuff, that we've all experienced the boogeyman, you know what I'm saying? They want to try to scare you with the boogeyman, and it's kind of ridiculous. It really is. It really is. But yeah, you're right about that. And to be honest with you, um I think that no matter what color you are, you have the right to work with whatever deities you want. I personally do not believe in gatekeeping unless I'm keeping my own personal gate or the gates of my clients. You know, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not a gatekeeper. But so that goes along the lines of that as well. Like some people are trying to gatekeep the craft within itself, and we can't let it die with us. Because think about it, if they don't teach somebody, if it's not passed down, then we will have no way of knowing it. So I am very appreciative of the people that teach the real deal. Okay. And then also, what spirit is bringing to mind is psychism and psychic vampirism versus being a witch. I think that versus the craft is two different things. I don't think that of course, you don't necessarily have to be a witch to be a psychic, and you don't have to be a psychic to be a witch. And so psychic powers to me is totally opposite. I don't think that they always run hand in hand, but I think that you do have to watch out for both of them. You know what I'm saying? People with psychic powers, there are people that have psychic powers that I have seen put people under mind control, and that's a very real thing. So, you got to look out for stuff like that, and you got to free your mind. The way I look at witchcraft is freedom. Would I ever try to use it as a source of trapping people or doing things like that. No, no, we don't work that way over here, at least with my clients. Now, if you are somebody that's an enemy, that is an adversary, that is attacking me, I'm just going to bind you from doing any harm. I have a very powerful binding over here to where I'm not worried about certain stuff. I'm not. But, you know, the distraction, yeah, and people are purposely distracting. One thing that I can tell you, especially if you guys are thinking about starting a practice, or you just want to do readings for people part-time, which is perfectly fine. One thing that I can tell you that I've noticed is people in social media, it's almost like they're acting, they're actors. And you have to watch out for stuff like that in social media. They're not actually real in what they're doing. Nothing that they're saying is real. It's all fake. It's all a scam. And it is mainly predicated upon them trying to recreate this punishment for you if you are a witch. And that was actually done to me, which, yeah, they found out. It depends on what you're doing. You would have to give me more details about it. I can't really answer that question because I would actually have to know the details and about it. As far as with justice work, there can never be too much justice. But I do think that what people consider to be evil or bad or wrong, and it depends on whose opinion it is. Because if somebody is attacking you or trying to impede on you or doing something to you, you have every right to do something back to them. You just don't have to take that crap. You know what I'm saying? Being a witch in social media is extremely difficult because, especially when you can always tell when you are authentic because people are usually going to be angry at you at some point. They're not going to like you. There's going to be people that dislike you because once you start to invoke those spirits, those people are going to react in a certain way. So, being a witch in social media, it can be difficult, but it's doable. And I've been doing it for almost a decade. Okay. And, um, you see people running with certain clicks and people doing certain things, and it has nothing to do with the actual real craft. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. And it's something that you shouldn't play around with. Don't ever play around with it. If you're going to do it, you need to be serious about doing it, because it's not like a Mattel game. It's not. It's something that you have to take very, very seriously. So, okay, did anybody else have any questions? Any more questions? I've been here for a little over an hour. Do y'all want to ask questions, like any questions, like directly related to being a client? Or I'll answer some common questions. Are you going to be in trouble with the Lord? And are you going to hell for getting witchcraft done? The answer is no. Okay. Now, if you believe in heaven and hell, which is a lot of people believe in heaven and hell. I mean, I do. And you're doing work, you're actually serious about it, then you hear so much, oh, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. Okay, fine. That I'm going to hell. Thank you. I'll see you there. I'll see you when I get there. Okay. Thank you. Bye. But Um, I think that a lot of you guys that are Christian, or you guys are Catholic, or even Jehovah Witness, I'd say that it's okay with you because you're not the one that's actually doing the work. And let's face it, I don't agree with, oh, you went through this because God did this and God didn't want that for you. And I don't agree. I don't believe that God works that way. I don't believe God works that way. I honestly don't. So, everybody has a right to their own opinions and their own beliefs. I don't believe in extenuating traumatic circumstances being brought on by necessarily the Lord, but rather some unseen force will, I guess, make you go through that. But if you've been having blocked doorways, this and that your entire life, then you better bet your bottom dollar that something is being used against you, if those things, and you kind of sort of, do we have a choice in the matter? There really isn't any choice, is it, in the matter, as far as with practicing because of people, and I always felt like I don't care what anybody says to refute this. This is my own personal opinion, but I believe that the Bible is a form of witchcraft. And I think it's very hypocritical. Even though they do something very different, what about the people that are not able to benefit from that for whatever reason? But at the end of the day, religion is based around astrology. The son of God is the sun. Okay. And then other stuff, so it can be comparable to astrology. And, what are they really trying to say? Are they trying to say that you can't access these energies because you're not Christian? It's never been done that way before. I believe that tithing was the reason why it started to get forced on people because they wanted to make more and more money. So I think that it has a lot to do with money and gold, or back then it was probably barter and trade, or either favor, or either, donations and things of that nature. I think that that is what it is based on. But when you look at the followers, um, of those certain, religions, they're not getting anything out of it. The second heaven. Is that like, what is that, like the fairy realm or something? The second heaven? I don't know what you're talking about, Bailey. Bailey, you're going to be a little bit more clear for me, hon. Okay, so my guess is that you guys don't have any more questions. So I'll go ahead and throw this in there. A lot of you guys that want certain things, and this is something that I always push for. I believe that the Sabbaths are the key, and I'm going to tell you why. Especially if you are dealing with an adversary. The reason why, if you are in the middle of a spiritual war, I am pushing you guys to get in my Sabbaths is because Your adversaries are doing work during the Sabbaths. People that don't like you, people that want to get back at you, people that, feel as though, you, uh, people that those energies are more powerful. That's just like with this blue moon that came up. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, um, th- so the reason why it's a good idea, and we can see that people clearly are experiencing some mental problems these days. Okay, people are very mentally ill, and but they're still practicing, or either they're praying, or either they're reading from the Bible, and they're very mentally ill, right? And and they may have some kind of obsession, and they want to tear you down. So the reason why the Sabbaths are good is because it is going to bring certain energies that are going to give you that extra protection during those Sabbaths. And that, it's not even really about the ancestors. There are a lot of people that don't even do ancestor work, but it's all about the other workings, and the SBITs that we do, okay, for that particular time period. Now, obviously, Old Hallows Eve is going to be about, you know, um, ghosts and goblins and demons and stuff. But then November the 1st is actually the official Day of the Dead. So, those are directly related to the dead. And instead of being afraid of it, why not do something to protect yourself? If I had $1 million for every Christian that's running around here literally possessed, talking about it's the Lord, that ain't the Lord, honey. You're possessed by a spirit. That's not God. Because why are you acting crazy? So that's how I see it. So that is the reason why I push for the Sabbaths. Your adversaries are starting early. They're not just waiting until the day of the Sabbath to hit you up. There, as soon as we come out of fall equinox, we're going right into Samhain. It just is what it is. You cannot change it. You can't change it. Christians are not going to be able to change that either. It just is what it is. And I wish that they would stop trying. Okay. So that is the main aspect of it, is the Sabbaths, as to why I push you guys to get into the Sabbaths. And I actually do have a Sabbath going on right now. You can visit my website. It's $88 for the fall equinox. We have been doing a lot. We've written so far we've done 5 different workings. Ashley Rose wants to know about warding. What can you do on Friday to block the work being done against you? So, Ashley, that's a very complicated question that you may want to try to schedule some time with me. I know that everybody's on a budget, but that work that's being done on you every Friday, it's somebody that has a certain intent against you. And the reason why they're doing it on Friday is because Friday is the day of love and prosperity. And so what you have to do is, yes, you should definitely do warding, but whatever cycles that are being created by that work, you have to break it. Even though you may not stop that person from trying it, but there's work that you need to do to stop the results that it is having on you every Friday. Because I think you were telling me about that when I was live a few days ago. You were telling me about certain energies that you're feeling every Friday. Okay. So you may have to do if it's coming, so I can tell you that if it's coming at direct intervals, if it's happening like every Thursday, every Friday, or every third day of the month. I'm just using those as examples. That can mean that somebody either has a jar or either they may have a doll on you. But mainly it could be a jar that has a specific intent to do something, and you have to do some work to stop that person, to basically stop their stuff from coming to you. And the person that's attacking you, we both already know, and that person is practicing, and they will step into a new arena. And when you take away their ability to, practice and bring about some chaos in their life. So you may want to get with me on that. I would say to do warding, but also make it, set an intent. There's got to be a reason why it's being done on Friday. But we've spoken about that. We've spoken about how, and I don't want to get into your business too much because we've talked, and I don't want to get into your business. But you're gonna have to, you already kind of know what you need to do. Like, I sent you the list of stuff that you need to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you may need more clarification on that. Um, but I would say that one of your most powerful wards would be brooms, salt, amulets, sigils, runes can be a ward. You can do a warding bottle, you can do a warding jar. But I kind of feel as though, like, from what I can sense, is that you probably also need um like a cleanse or either a uncrossing, is what I could sense, is what you needed, is what you need. Typically, when you do a uncrossing or a reversal, or you bind an enemy, um hold on. Typically, when you bind an enemy, then that's when you want to do the warding, because basically what a ward is going to do is it's going to stop that energy from reaching you. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. Any other questions from anybody? Oh, the content link, the content and the link for my new channel. Is that what you were asking about, Bailey Bailey? That is the witch's broom. And you should be able to get it just by searching the witch's broom. Hold on. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. I've been typing and doing all kind of stuff. That is the link to the witch's broom channel, in case that's what you were asking about. Ashley, I used to get psychically attacked. Um, I used to get psychically attacked at certain times, especially during the full and new moons, and I ain't getting attacked at all. ever since I started putting up wards and stuff. Okay, y'all. I've got to I've if y'all didn't have any other questions, I've got to go because I have a client that's contacting me. And so I've got to I'm going to go because I've been here for almost an hour and a half. Uh Thank y'all for y'all questions and y'all being here. Definitely subscribe to the Witches Broom channel. Hit that thumbs up and I will see you guys later, okay? Oh, by the way, shameless plug. I am running a special for Mercury retrograde for readings as well as rituals and spells. So, I did put up a video. Probably it's up on this channel. It's going to be up on the other channel too. Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good evening. Blessings. Okay. Blessed, blessed be to y'all. Okay. Bye bye.